What's up, everyone? This is Destroyer229, and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Last time, we attempted to take a look at Gant's office, where the final murder of the Joe Dark killings happened. The idea is that maybe there is some evidence that is left behind that can give us some idea as to what exactly happened, given that there was forged evidence that was used back when it went to trial. Unfortunately, Gant was there and kicked us out. So we've been kind of going around trying to get a little bit more information on various people. First it was Gumshoe, then it was Edgeworth, and finally it was with Angel Star. We learned that we could just have any detective open up the door for us, but doing so would likely result in firing if they got found out. But we also learned that Edgeworth was writing a letter of resignation. Basically, he feels guilty that he used forged evidence, even unwittingly, and he's just kind of tired with all the rumors going around. And Miss Star here has given us a bit more information on Lana's take of everything, at least from her perspective, as well as her own theory as to how she got to the chief prosecutor position. Basically, that she's being a pawn for Damon Gant. In this episode, well, we still need to get in the Gant's office, and we do have Edgeworth's letter of resignation with us. So let's head on back to the police department. Gumshoe should... Oh, whoops, that is not where we need to be. Let's head on over back to criminal affairs. Oh, you're back. You're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ! You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. Okay, now, this is the point that just got me stumped. I tried literally every single item. I went through and meticulously showed Gumshoe every single item that I had. And it was to no avail. It wasn't until I actually went back and found this thing that it was like, ah, that's what I needed. So this is what we actually need to progress, but he does actually say quite a lot with the different items here. Not everything. Like, I don't think he says anything about Neil's autopsy report. Let me share a little advice with you as a detective. If you don't have a clue, keep your trap shut. I'll keep that in mind. Sheesh. Okay. I don't exactly remember what exactly he had to say. He had a lot to say about various different things. I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. To think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah. It was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know? After all, a serial killer was on the loose. But Lana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. Okay, there's a few other things. I can't believe Officer Marshall would do something like that. You know Officer Marshall? Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus. Really? He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus. Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Probably because he's gonna be fired and no one would really want to be in his position. About that jar, I think I've seen it before somewhere. Somewhere? Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformed detective I have ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant? Where could I have seen that before? The interesting with that is that I showed Gumshoe it and it took me quite a bit of time to actually realize what he's talking about there. And that's in the picture. Between Neil and Lana is the jar. Like, it honestly was like this big revelation to be like, oh my gosh! It's like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's just like drinking a beer and pointing at like a TV or something. It's like, that's the thing! That's probably one of the saddest things that got cut, unfortunately, was that revelation. No locker can be opened without a fingerprint match. Besides, there's no reason for the murderer to touch his own locker. Hey, wasn't your locker the one with the blood on it, detective? The handprint of the real murderer's gloved hand, without any fingerprints. Shh! If they come to arrest me, you'll defend me, won't you? If that happens, I think you'll do better pleading with Edgeworth. Yeah, I don't think so. Edgeworth would just say guilty. Okay, I don't think he has anything to say. Yeah, he doesn't have anything to say about the rubber glove. I don't think he has anything to say with that. I think he does have something with the fingerprint set. Yeah, that powder is used for detecting fingerprints. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth gave it to us. He did what? All I have is some flour. Are you okay, detective? Quick, run! Achoo! Hey, if it's any help, one time, I took a nap on a bench with wet paint. Why am I not comforted? Yeah. Now it's just all everywhere, and Phoenix needs to go change. That's the ID card record, isn't it? Yes. There's only one number left to investigate. At 4:20 p.m., the victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. 77777777. That's 17 too many, detective. An executive officer. I just might have a hunch. We still need to know, like, motive or things like that. There's still a lot of different things that we're missing. Hey, I just bought some of that stuff. Now I can go around detecting blood traces, too. Wow! Is that a new type? I've never seen that bottle before. Add 3 inches to your base height. Base height? Hey, let me see that. Looming tall. New and improved growth formula. You mean this can't detect any blood traces? Well, it's not quite the same thing as luminol. So that's why the lady at the counter had that smirk on her face. Oh, poor Gumshoe. The knife is just the same thing that we've seen before. I don't think there's anything with the shoe, the photo. Oh, he does have something to say with the photo. That's the photo that Miss Starr took. Anything you can tell us about it? That Miss Star is quite the lady. Why, I remember it was winter. I was 16. She was the only one who ever got me to talk about what happened. 16? Well, that's how old I am now. I wonder what happened. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe wore a trench coat in high school, too. Yeah, something tells me that it wouldn't be allowed. Then again, if he's an anime character, then maybe? I don't think there's really anything else, aside from maybe the Blue Badger. This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on the evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say about most officers nowadays. It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well. I have to admit, he's right, though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15 p.m. Alright, well, actually, I think the knife does have something. Found in Mr. Edgeworth's car, stabbed with Mr. Edgeworth's knife. Huh. What would drive Chief Prosecutor Sky to do such a thing? Wait, I didn't mean, sure, of course, someone else really did it. Someone who must have, someone who must have a grudge against Mr. Edgeworth. Alright, not really a whole lot. Maybe the King of Prosecutors trophy? Hey, that's it! That's the King of Prosecutors award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, pal! I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. Say, this design's based on an old Chinese parable, right? Yeah, everyone knows that. There was this, dragon? Yeah, that's it, a dragon. He had a thing for shields, see? That's not exactly the version we heard. No, but this one sounds more exciting. Anyway, it gets kind of gory after that. I'll spare you the details. He doesn't know anything. This ID card belongs to the victim, Detective Bruce Goodman. You can do just about anything these days with a card and a secret number. Scary. It's only scary because you keep dropping your card, Detective Gumshoe. Yeah, I forget my secret number a lot, too. I'm scared of myself. But I'm me, after all, and what could be wrong with that? I think I'll stay out of this conversation. Okay, and that's pretty much it. I don't think the attorney badge really has anything. So yeah, I had to meticulously go through everything and basically learn of all these different just things that Gumshoe commentates about. But it's time to show him what we actually need to show him. What's this crumbled up piece of paper? No way. Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious! Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they've pushed him this far! Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was cold as ice too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I've made up my mind. But... Here, take my ID card. We can't do that! If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So, at least let me do this. For Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, Detective. Thank you. Alright, and now we have Gumshoe's ID. And it has Gumshoe's picture on it. I don't think I ever actually examined this before. Detective Gumshoe isn't very photogenic, is he? Whatever you do, just don't say that to his face. Look, his eyes are half shut. Yeah, and his mouth is half open. Hey, each of his shirt buttons is off a notch. And he's got a narrow end of his tie in front. I think this goes beyond being a photogenic issue. Yeah, Gumshoe should probably kind of work on, you know, his appearance. Like, even if it's just for, like, taking a picture, it's an official ID. At least try to look presentable, I guess. Ah, well, not like it's really that important. So, let's head on over to the chief's office then, now that we can access it. Here goes, Mr. Wright. We're in. If anyone finds us now... Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Ah! Ah! Sorry! I thought you were a ghost! Oh, I didn't even know you could slap a ghost! Ah! Detective Gumshoe! What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what was the point in giving us your ID card? Hey, don't do that to my card! I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to be fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Okay, well, we can take a look around Gant's office, but before we do that, let's maybe talk to Gumshoe a bit. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be on alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So, ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Chief Gant, and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Well, let's talk more about Gant. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes? I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. No, there's no... Never mind, don't worry about it. Okay, now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on! Not so fast, buddy! Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal! You don't just let it go at that! Sorry! Oh, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings. Yet. There you go, ignoring me again. Yeah. Even though it's a bit of a suspicion, we're still very much lacking in a lot of different areas. So let's go ahead and take a look around a little bit. Let's look around Lana's desk first. This was Lana's desk. Sure is tidy. Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of. Does he keep it in memory of her or in memory of the crime? Well, there's the picture here. This was taken on that day 2 years ago. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here. Then went along with Chief Gant to question Dark. I bet he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later. Gee, you think? Alright, don't think there's really a whole lot else that's over here. These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left shelf. Hey! This is when Lana and I went to that theme park. Oh, poor Emma. Okay, so if we try... Can I do this right here? Yes, I can. Okay, I wasn't sure what exactly was the trigger for doing this. But we can use the testing fluid to kind of test around the area. There's a little bit of blood right down here where the crime took place. And by little, I mean a lot. Whoa! This area must have been covered in blood! Is this from that incident? It must be. When Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. 2 years have passed, so the reaction's kind of dull. So a murder really did take place here. Well, that was the only thing I could really spray. We could also just kind of go over here. Nothing seems to be reacting to anything. So there's not really a whole lot that we can do. We can examine this organ. The Chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building! When a detective screws up, the Chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours. What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days, except for the ringing in their ears. So it's an instrument of punishment. Literally. But aren't the Chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's beside the point. Probably has, like, earplugs or something. Anyway, there's this... Oh, can't do anything about the phone. What about the suit of armor? This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons? Sure is, pal. Chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor? Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Shh! Be careful what you say. Who knows? The Chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out. You guys don't know how scary that guy can be. Now I'm just imagining Chief Gant just bursting out of the armor and saying, "Hello, Wright, my boy!" Anyway, well, it's neat to just kind of look around things. There are a few things that we do need to take a look. Like this. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so.
It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it.
A 7-digit number. I think I might know what it is. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date? I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. A 7-digit code. So what could possibly be a 7-digit code that could be associated with Gant? I think it's pretty obvious. Bingo. Alright, I did that same thing before and I forgot Phoenix also said that. Damn it! It's been a week since I recorded. Cut me some slack. That one I actually did genuinely forget he said. Bingo.
What number did you enter?
Whose birthday was it, pal? 7777777. The final ID card number on that record.
What?
The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 777777? That ID number? I think you're 1 7 shy this time.
This can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside?
Well, let's take a look. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away?
Look, it's a
shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before?
There's something else in here too.
What's this? Looks like a piece of leather cloth.
This is a handprint, isn't it?
Hey, I saw wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, it was just a thought.
Is that it? That's all that was in the safe?
Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to get them.
How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's gotta be something we can show the detective.
So, we can do that, but we can also take a look at Gant's desk. When we came in here the first time, he hid something away, kind of like Edgeworth crumpling up that resignation letter.
Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk.
Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two! Chief Gant! He put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. A list of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though.
Hey, look at the case name.
Huh? SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said, I wonder what... No! About evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long? That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-sized list of evidence. The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long.
what would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it! The chief must be hiding something about that case!
It would appear so. So now we've got this. So we at least have the other half of the evidence list. Although, can we really examine it? Not particularly. There's not much we can do here. But if we turn it around... Bum bum bum! Honestly, just kind of rotating it is another one of those things that I wish could be kept. But was unfortunately, you know. You all know the drill by now. I wonder what this is. Looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here.
What is it? Did you find something?
I can't make it out. I'd better keep quiet about it for now. Huh? Oh, no, it's nothing.
Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright?
I'd better not forget about this picture. Emma did say that she drew a picture, so this is likely her drawing. Though the fact that everything's just kind of in a silhouette isn't exactly the most helpful. Now, as for trying to get those other pieces of evidence, let's go ahead and show Gumshoe. Well, actually, present. Let's go ahead and show Gumshoe the jar. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. I remember it like it was yesterday. Gumshoe, it was yesterday.
Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case?
That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found? You mean this one? That was in the safe?
Yes, that one. That was in the safe.
Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do.
Mr. Wright, here's some glue.
If I can piece this together again, it'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here it goes. Back to this. Okay, so it's pretty simple. The top piece is right there. So let's go ahead and combine this. And it's a perfect match. There. Fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident.
But...
Hey, guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached? It's different from the others.
There's a reddish line on it.
A reddish line? That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? Yeah, that is the weird thing. Why specifically the line piece? I mean, we at least got the full thing here. But why that piece in particular?
Hey, look there. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here.
Looks like blood.
This piece the chief has is different, though. The bloodstains on the other pieces are just spots. But this one's a line.
That is odd. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that means, though. But we still have another piece of evidence to prove, and since it was fingerprints... Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So, you want to take some fingerprints?
That's a great idea, Detective.
Alright, go to town. Yeesh. you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints.
It's not your fingerprints we want to take.
Huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. Oh, I knew that. Yeah, the one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor?
Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then, once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away.
What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. Okay, so all we gotta do is pick a finger. Sprinkle a lot of dust on it. And I certainly mean a lot. And blow. I give it my best shot.
That kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it?
But it doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this print.
Okay, let's try a different finger then.
Now I know exactly which one that it is, but I only tried 3 of them, so I'm wondering if it's the same for all of them? I didn't try the ring finger. I'm wondering if it does specifically have to be the one finger, or if there's multiple ones that it could be. Nope, not the ring finger. Okay, kind of the same. For curiosity's sake, we'll go with the pinky, because this was the other one that I didn't get a chance to check. Though if I'm willing to bet, this one also won't yield any results, and it is the same finger. And it's only that finger. Yep, it is. Okay, so only one finger is actually the right result, and it's the middle finger. So this is the one that will actually reveal a viable fingerprint. So just sprinkle a lot of stuff and then blow. Pretty good. Let's get down here, up the side, up at the top, and blow. Perfect. So now we have to match it with someone. And I was kind of hoping that it would be Gant, but it doesn't actually seem to match. Meekins is nowhere near. Jake, kind of, but not particularly. Especially that little line piece over there. Plus, everything is kind of distorted down. Goodman's also somewhat close, but it's not exact. Gumshoes is way off. Lana's isn't it. But Emma's is. No.
How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they?
Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match.
Oh, well that's too bad. I thought they would be Dark's prints.
Psst. Hey, you, over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe?
Don't ask me!
Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here. Maybe you should hold on to this. Alright. So that is very odd. Why would Emma's prints be on this? Well, was I any help? Of course! Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Ah! Chief Gant! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Unfortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, you in the coach? Me, sir? Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir! Now get out. Yes, sir? We'll be on our way out, too. Wait, you, the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet.
Me, sir?
I'd like a word with you.
But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet.
You, with the spiky hair, you're free to go.
Mr. Wright!
Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you?
I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired.
Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture.
But why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time?
Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day.
I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning.
It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here.
But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing.
Not a single useful thing.
Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman.
You know, I think I finally figured it out.
I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right.
Edgeworth?
Once you've convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe.
Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Alright. Why have you been keeping quiet about everything? I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual.
What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person?
Protecting? No.
I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name?
It's pretty obvious. Damon Gant. Well, Miss Sky?
Mr. Wright, you are addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place.
I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans.
My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective.
Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something.
Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes?
Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence.
Of course. These are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant?
Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was
me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation.
Yes, you, but also one other. Damon Gant.
If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case.
I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think it was the evidence list? Or maybe it was just the stuff. I think it's any of these things, actually. I mean, he hid this stuff in that... He hid the stuff in that safe. You want proof of the chief's wrongdoings? Here it is.
That evidence proves someone is doing something wrong, all right. But it's not the chief.
Who could that be?
Why, you, of course.
Me?
Yes. You seriously believe what you're saying, don't you? Now that's scary. You seem to have the makings of a criminal in you, with all your fallacious accusations.
I picked the wrong thing.
Care to spend tonight in the cell next to mine?
If you ask me, you're the scary one. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. So apparently I picked the wrong one. So then the evidence list? Yeah, I don't get why the piece of cloth didn't work, but the list, that's weird. I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him?
Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder.
Why not?
Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate.
In the murder of Detective Goodman.
Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car.
Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman.
Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body.
The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife?
No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it.
The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife.
I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife.
That would be Edgeworth's knife.
That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him.
That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand.
Yes. It seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me, just as I plunged the knife in.
Miss Starr, huh?
Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that, by whatever means possible.
So, you hid Dark's knife.
The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that.
So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. In Edgeworth's exhaust pipe.
Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what happened, and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler.
You asked Emma?
I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma was so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day.
A bad feeling?
The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall.
To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him?
The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or, at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own.
Oh, you mean...
Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands.
He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence.
He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared.
So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room.
I'm afraid that's all I can tell you.
But Lana!
You've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow.
Tomorrow's trial. That's the only way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. Alright. Well, with all the pieces that we're gonna get, now is a good time to call it a day. So, next time on Let's Play, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. We managed to infiltrate the chief's office and got quite a bit of pieces of evidence, explicitly detailing that Chief Gant hid evidence of the SL9 incident. And he's intending to use Lana and Edgeworth to take the fall. And he will just be right as rain. Though there's still a lot of things that remain uncertain. Why hide that evidence in the first place? Why are Emma's prints on that piece of cloth? Why is he talking to Emma about this? And also, why is Lana so dedicated to protect him? She says that it's basically orders, but why? well, everything will be revealed in the final day of court. So, until next time, everyone, take care.